worldwide hobby that has many different aspects. Digital television is just one of the many modes and areas that are covered. Maybe you're interested in becoming involved in the DATV Experimenters Nights. Do you realise that you do not have to be a radio amateur or need any ATV equipment to participate anywhere in the world? Also participate on the night by coming up to the Queen's Domain club rooms. Yes, right on top of the Queen's Domain in the heritage-listed Coast Wireless Station. You never know, we might get you in front of the camera or behind doing one of the many roles during the night. We get underway with our program on a Wednesday night from 7:30 p.m. local time. We'll see you soon. This is VK7 OTC.
That's better. Okay, this is VK7 OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, with our DATV Experimenters Night. And we have a huge night tonight, bit of a celebration night for us here at the Radio and Electronics Association. Because if you haven't heard, we the VK7 took out the Remembrance Day contest for the third year running. So it's a bit of a celebration going on next door, and we'll actually get a few of the key players in the not too distant future, just to go through a few things in relation to the RD. And I've got the RD report here that I just want to run through a few of the highlights out of. So yeah, we took out the Remembrance Day as a state. And Alan VK4SN, the contest coordinator, highlights that we did it with over 17% of VK7's licensed actually submitting logs, so which is absolutely huge. The next state participation rate is something like about 4% versus 45%. I just absolutely fantastic to everybody involved in VK7. There were 43 logs actually submitted. So what I will do is just put out the call to our club rooms just next door. To Richard, if you're about, VK7ZBX, if you can make your way into the studio, that would be absolutely fantastic, Richard. We'll get Richard in. Here he is.
Hey.
Congratulations. Now I'll just head to here.
Hayden's having a nervous wee.
Oh, nervous wee. Okay. Now, welcome, Richard, VK7ZBX.
Thank you very much.
And a fantastic congratulations. Who, if I look at the report here, you come in at the top with 1,101 points, the top of the single operator phone section.
Sweet.
And a record, I understand.
So I believe.
So absolutely fantastic. And in fact, what I've done here, I'll just we'll see what we can do here. Let's go to the close-up camera. Oh, I wish I went straight there. Now, I'm not. You don't have to read this, but what I actually want to point out here is what I've done is gone through, and in each of the sections, I've highlighted a VK7.
Oh. There's a lot of highlight there.
Now, VK7 put in 43 logs, which is absolutely fantastic.
Shit.
So of the 43 logs, if you actually highlight those logs, there's an awful lot of green in the single operator phone. There are a couple in the single operator mixed, and that's HWBO and GN, who both were phone and CW. Nobody in the single operator CW from VK7. Okay, there was one VK7ZRF in the QRP phone, and there was one in the QRP mixed, as in VK7 KPC. And then and I wanted to highlight this, in the multi-single operator category, there is actually VK7 HSD. Now, VK7 HSD is the Huonville Scout group.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So this is under the tutelage of... oh, hang on, that wasn't quite right. Where did I do that? Let's go to here. Oh, that's better. Yeah, no, that was a bit of a terrible transition, but anyway. Is the Huonville Scout group under the tutelage of Michael VK7 MRS, and who is Hayden's 2IC, repeater in the south person. So I just wanted to highlight it's because it says under the multi-operator stations VK7 HSD, VK7 MRS, and Scouts.
Oh wow!
So and a number of those
didn't work them either.
Well, a number of the Scouts are also F calls, because that was we went through an exercise of training quite a few of them, because that's where, and the reason I remember this is that's where Ruben got his F call, because I said, there's a whole lot of Scouts coming up that are about your age. How would you like to do the F call? And he said, oh yeah, I'll do that.
What category was that they were in?
This was the multi-operator stations. So, and where they list of operators, and there were 3 other Scout groups. So VK3, SAK, SAY, and SDJ, who are all groups with Scouts.
Right.
So,
It's a good effort.
fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So I just wanted to highlight that. Now I also have in the studio here with us.
Camera position.
You'd be able. No, you've got to be this side.
Yeah.
But we've got
It's a family
we've got two. we've got 2 members of the Cronies Plus One. Now, would you like to explain why it's the Cronies Plus One?
Well, there's a bit of a long story with the Cronies.
Okay.
Cronies were a group of people that originated at Murray VK7ZMS's place. We used to meet there of a Friday night, and then when we stopped meeting at Murray's place, we decided to meet at my place.
Okay.
So the guys would come around sort of probably once a fortnight, and we'd sort of drink beer and eat pizza and talk a lot of rubbish. So my wife very nicely talked about, your cronies are coming up. So
It sounds a
From
bit like the
then on
sewing
in.
circle barbecue.
yeah,
Sewing circle.
I think it's probably there's vague sort of similarities. But so hence the cronies night was born, and the cronies mail list, and the cronies lots of other things.
Okay.
So we decided to call the group the Cronies Plus One. So Hayden was an honorary crony.
Was the honorary crony.
I can only aspire to be a crony.
Cronies Plus One. So the Cronies Plus One total score was 2,506. Now the next one, which was AREG in VK5, was 1881. So you absolutely slammed it.
Cool.
Absolutely
That was
slammed it.
even after I fell asleep. See, look at my score. My score's
442.
higher.
We need to take Hayden under our wing and teach him about sleep
so
deprivation.
my score's higher than quite quite a few of the others as well.
Both these.
Yeah,
and that one. And I remember. Well, I worked you guys. Definitely worked you guys, and I definitely worked the AREG guys.
Yep.
I'm a bit surprised that VK5GN Grant Willis is not in here, because I did contact him. He was one of the operators, I think, for the AREG
They had some pretty strong
station.
signals.
Yeah. Well and truly. And I know Grant runs a hex beam.
Okay. That trumps my random piece of wire.
Yeah. Well, yeah. My G5RV. Yeah. So that's fantastic. Now I'll leave that one. We'll get Scouts. Now the one I highlighted here a little bit later. Alan in his report highlights the longest ham years in each state. And so you when you exchanged, you had to actually say the number of years licensed. Now VK7 actually did really well here with 63 years. It was the highest, the longest. But VK2 took it out with 72 years. Now I don't think I worked whoever the 72-year-old 72
I thought Rex
licensed years.
I thought Rex was a pretty good effort at 59.
You're 59072. What? Can you say that again?
Fantastic. 72 years, and it's interesting looking at like VK1. The longest was 40, so it's quite a young population there. Obviously, VK3 was 71.
Just missed it.
So
Does he have averages? So average the state?
No.
Okay. Because that would be a good reflection of...
Oh no. Yeah. Well and truly, across all of the people who put in for that state.
Yeah.
VK4 was 53, VK5 was 65, VK6 was 61, VK7 63, and VK8, and there weren't too many VK8s in there. Two. And ZL, there were a few ZLs in there. There's 40 of them, unique participants. It was 49. So that was interesting. Now I think. Now this was. If we go to the back, the number of. This is a bit of a breakdown. Number of logs received per state. Now there was 183. 43 and a total of 183, so fantastic. This is always interesting. He did a little analysis of the CB to CW ratio. So the SSB to CW ratio, and it's quite fascinating because back in 2012 that ratio was 31 to 1, so everyone was on sideband. Then in 2013 it went down to 13 to 1. 2014 it was 9 to 1, so there's more and more CW operators. And bear in mind, that's where it's we had a bit of a resurgence in CW and a few other things.
Yeah.
2015 it was 7 to 1, and that's actually the lowest it's got. And then it crept back up, and for 2019 it was 13 to 1. So there were 13 people on.
That includes the fact that CW mode can be digital modes.
Well, quite possibly.
We did have a bit of a crack at doing that one year.
Yeah.
Trying to be clever, and
so this was
Richard. We tried to use Richie.
Yeah.
RD 2020 would be interesting if they added something like FT8 into the mix for contesting.
Spot on.
And to see what the rate would
manual
then
mode.
be.
Manual FT8.
Yes, not auto sequence.
Correct.
Manually.
Correct. So and the only question I've got here, which is what I raised just a while ago, is in the RD phone contacts per band chart, it's got greater than 3.4 gig.
It says 0.
And it says 0, and I'm sort of going.
So we made lots of contacts on 2.4.
In fact, that's where our big scores came from.
And on 24 gigs, in fact.
Correct. So anyway, and the last thing I was going to highlight here before we get our F-call champion extraordinaire guru person in is in 2018 the team was Tricky Muzz and Vince, who took it out with 2,398 points. 2019 was the Cronies plus one, so that was Murray, ZMS, Richard here, ZBX, and Hayden over there, HH, with 2,506. So they trumped it by nearly 200. So that's pretty cool. So you're raising the expectation here, Richard.
This is good.
Sort of,
Well, we had a bit of help. Like Rex was really sort of very helpful and very generous in offering sort of his 24 gig system, which sat on my bench quite nicely. In fact, that was the strongest signal on the night. The best signal report on the night was actually given on 24 gigs.
I love it.
I want to put a challenge out. Let's go for 3,000 next year.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go for 3,000.
3,000.
122 gigs. We need.
The challenge has been put down.
That's 1,000 points each. You and Murray did it. Or
Yeah.
Murray close.
Yeah, Murray was 980 or
Yep.
something.
And I'll stay awake and we'll get 1,000. We'll get
Oh, no.
3,000.
Well and truly. Well and truly. So, very, very. And the only other thing I was going to point out here, which is this is where people will go, oh, I know exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
There's a same state contact chart. When you look down the list,
Oh, look at that.
in 2019, VK7 was like 5,627, which is like 3,000 odd more than any other state.
But to be fair, too, a significant number of our contacts are on microwave bands, so you're
correct.
only ever likely to do that.
Correct. So
If it was distance based and we managed to work in the like VK3 on 2.4 or 3.4, then
that'd be impressive. That'd be very impressive. So I have to thank Alan, who is the contest manager for the
it's a pretty
RD.
comprehensive report.
It's an excellent report, and shows all of those bits and pieces that go together to make up a contest and make up how we actually won the RD.
It was a good effort by everybody.
So thank you very much, Richard. And you've had your head along with Hayden's head deep in your 3.4 gig transverter. So what have you been up to?
We've been continuing the journey to make it here a little bit better.
I like that journey.
Yeah. Basically, we've just bypassed the receive filter and created effectively another one.
Okay.
That's nowhere near as tight.
Mm.
And we've made a mod to the GPS locking mod so that now the thing doesn't lose lock on transmit.
Okay.
So we just changed the value of the decoupling capacitor on that.
Okay.
So we've got almost everything sorted except for the high SWR
On transmit,
which we suspect may be a faulty pin diode on the sequencer.
Right.
Somebody could have put too much power into the IF, perhaps. A remote possibility.
I wonder who that could be.
A remote possibility. It was Hayden.
Okay. Oh, he was quick.
I would have been on the other end, I'm sure.
But no, but it's all good.
Well, that's relatively easy to fix.
That is quite easy to fix, so we just need to sort of determine that. And then believe you've done your mod as well.
I've done the mods, and I've also, and in fact, what we can do, I can show you. There's not much to see with this, but I can actually show you a picture of what's in the inside.
It's a really nice bit of case there.
Well,
Very custom.
Is that a coconut one?
well, it's actually sorry, people don't know what we're talking about. It's actually the tin that I used, because I needed some tin plate, and the tin, I went out to my recycling bin, and the only tin that was in there was coconut milk tin. And the only problem with the coconut milk tin is it is a galvanised tin, but it's printed on. it's printed on, so so you've got to scratch it off. You've got to scratch the paint off.
Or you could have done inside out.
So the little tin. Now, can I just say, I came across at JCar a couple of weeks ago. They are selling tin, so sheet metal bending pliers.
Oh, those like the vice grips.
Correct.
Like a duck.
Correct. And I looked at these and I
We've
went,
actually made some in the past.
I love it. And I actually bought one.
Yeah,
How much are they?
They're $25.
Yep.
And I sort of went, that's actually the bit that's missing, because I've got folders, and I've got guillotines and all that sort of stuff.
Intricate little corners where you
Well, that's what I use for that.
Yeah. Perfect.
And so
I was going to say you didn't bend that by hand.
no. I bent it using these pliers. Now, what's actually inside? What's actually inside? Because I took a picture before I. Oh, come on! I took a picture before I boxed it up, because I actually soldered the box up because I wanted to. That's actually what. Oh, and on the back, the reason I've done that, I put 2 holes in the back and then soldered, because the back is just one big ground plane.
Yep.
and I was a bit worried about, because there's not actually too many pads on this side of the box. Hang on, let me... Oh no, that's not going to do anything, is it? I need to...
Turn the brightness on the phone.
I need to...
Good thought.
Yeah, it was a good idea at the time. Oh, that's a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. So that's the little power amplifier, the PA that I was working on last week. You can see this is the device, and it's an HEMFET device. They are actually devices that go up to 12 gigs.
Wow.
The device actually goes up to 12 gigs, and the only reason I know that is I built a 10 gig preamp using from a French amateur's design that uses these devices.
Okay.
And the really confusing thing, I actually thought I'd blown this device up, because when I soldered it on here, I soldered it the wrong way around, because it didn't this particular device doesn't have one of its leads cut at 45 degrees. You've got to go with the little D that's written on the top of it, and I didn't pick that up. So anyway, so I unsoldered it, and just snib that, or it's going to lock everybody in and out. So I unsoldered it, and I checked it with a multimeter.
That was still good.
No, it wasn't. I thought it wasn't. I actually thought it wasn't, because the source is the two tags. That was fine. They should be shorted. But then I went to the drain, and I thought, oh shit, it's shorted as well. All three of those are shorted. And then I read, no, you actually need to go down to the lowest ohm range, and it's about 6 to 15 ohms. And it was. And you set up a little arrangement where you don't put any bias on it. You check the bias. You then set the bias at a certain level. Then you start connecting the coupling devices and all of this sort of stuff. Then you set the bias level, and then you actually measure the current that's being drawn by the device. And if it's between like 15 and 20 milliamps, you're good to go. That's the way you set it up, and it was fine.
Wow.
But in the middle there, I was thinking, oh, bugger, I've blown this up.
Yeah.
So anyway, so in the middle of that, when I thought I'd blown it up, I went on, as you do, onto eBay.
Oh, you bought 20 of them, free shipping.
Well, correct. So there's some coming that we've probably got a few spares. But anyway, that's another story.
Good key.
So that's the 3.4. Although with the receiver mod that we have just all done, I'm not sure I need it.
You don't need the no.
I'm not sure.
So there could be a cheap preamp.
Correct.
Keep your
Well,
no extra charge for the
I will try
coconut milk.
We'll try the preamp. Yeah, no expense spared. Come on. So yeah. So what I will do is we'll get Paul into the studio, because I just want to highlight his
really well.
contribution.
I think he was a bit overawed when Murray and I turned up at his house with sort of antenna mounts and.
Cool. No, you're sitting here.
Yeah, get in there.
You're sitting here. Thank you, Richard.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
In the hot seat.
Now we're looking at this camera over here.
Yes.
So now I welcome Paul VK7FCL. I'll get it right this time.
Not John.
Not John. And congratulations, Paul.
Thank you very much.
You did exceptionally well in the Remembrance Day contest. Because you came first in the top 3 foundation operators. You came first with a whopping 255 points. And the next one, which was VK6FCMF, only had 47 points.
Well, I certainly didn't do it on my own.
I understand that you had some assistance.
Yes, I would, to start this off, I guess, I'd like to thank Richard Howlett and VK7ZBX and Murray Southwell, VK7ZMS, for all their help and assistance. I had mentioned to them at some point that I had my license for some 18 months. This is a true confession part of this.
Oh, this is the true confession. Okay.
And had yet to make a contact. I'm a tinkerer, and I love love the electronic side and the building side.
You even went up Mount Dromedary with me.
I did. But by the time this old warhorse got up to the top, you had made all your contacts and was having a cup of tea. Well, I was sitting there trying to get my breath, and that was just from looking up at you. So they said we had a bit of a working bee out here, an antenna working bee out here one day, and they said, right, we've got the thing for you. What? The RD's coming up. RD, what? Retro design. I had no clue.
I like that. Retro design.
Yeah. And so they said the RD Remembrance Day contest. I said, oh, okay, when's that? Next weekend. Weekend night. It was 2 weeks away.
Okay.
It was 2 weeks away. And I said,
mountains of time.
Yeah, mountains of time. Well, they said 2 weeks is mountains of time because we only usually prep maybe 2 hours.
Correct. That's most amateurs go.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I better get something together.
Yes. So I had 2 weeks to worry about this.
Okay.
Or prepare. And next thing you know, Murray and Richard are showing up at my place with vans.
Yes.
And they're getting on my roof. And they're installing antennas.
Coax.
A 2 meter and it's 70 centimeter and a 2 meter dual band.
Okay. Yes.
And running it into the window into my garage, and up on the next door neighbor said, "Your house has turned into a porcupine." So,
I love it.
So and I'm in a strata-tidal place, so I got a little bit nervous as to whether or not anyone would say anything. But I'm the last one on the on the road.
Okay.
So and I said, well, what do I do? They said it's easy. Look, this is probably one of the easiest contests you can enter. It's
Correct.
fairly relaxed, which had me going. And look, with all these great people helping me, I felt really compelled to do my best.
Okay.
And I got familiar with the logging software as best I could. I had all my radios set up and little tags on I'm a bit OCD. Little tags on everything to say which channel I was operating on. So
Okay.
they lent me a radio, so I had a separate 70 centimeter and 2 meter and my HF rig, and I was really pleased to make a couple of HF
More than a couple.
Well, HF contacts.
Oh, okay.
Specifically, yes.
Okay.
So as far as the points go, which you seem to be focused on, I thought to myself, so I looked up what people have done before.
Yep.
And I think last year's foundation winner had something like 194 or 100 and something like that. And look, it was a bit of a surreal experience.
Yeah, okay.
For the first maybe half hour, I think, because I did start when it started, and for the first half hour, I just sat and listened to the rhythm
Yeah. Okay.
of what was going on.
That's a good way of doing it.
And I didn't enter directly into the contest log. I wrote things down first. But it just goes to show you what a tight-knit group of individuals and 24 hours
In a lack of sleep.
can accomplish. I did lay down at one point.
Okay.
I did take a break and lay
Okay.
down.
We won't hold that against you.
No, I know. Richard would probably go, oh, slacker.
Yeah.
Considering, I think he shoved 26 hours into that 24 somehow. But it was really an exhilarating event, and I'm proud of it, and it's made me a lot more confident. And I would really suggest that if there's any mic shy people out there, just to get together with someone who you can contact with, someone that you know in your club, and make a couple of contacts, do some tests. I mean, these guys lent me radios, they ran stuff in, we did mic checks, we did transmission checks and things like that. And with that was the confidence that you could do it, because I had everything set up. I had a nice little desk, and I had everything. And come the day, just getting that rhythm. And as you go, it's the only thing. The problem is with the 3 radios, I sometimes kind of grabbed the wrong.
Picked
mic.
up the wrong mic. Yeah, no,
But I
which
think
we all
that's kind of
do.
common. Yeah.
Which we all do. So did you? I've got a specific question here, which is around. Did you operate up until the end of the contest? Because and the reason I ask that is, I did notice in this particular RD. In most RDs, the last sort of 3/4 to half an hour, when people realise they've got half an hour, it becomes manic.
Oh.
But what I noticed this year was, I reckon it was probably the last hour and a half to 2 hours. It was just constant.
Well, I tried to flick around and get what I could, but when people were, I had limited frequencies.
Yeah.
And so there were, and I didn't have my timing worked against me a little bit in the end.
Okay.
So I had quite a list of individuals that I still had. The contest would have been over in then 5 minutes.
After you would have had another round of contacts.
And in fact, I made a couple of contacts. I lost a couple of points. I made a couple of contacts right afterwards. But because I was writing down and not going directly into my log, I lost those couple of minutes going back into the log, and I lost some contacts. But I'm not begrudging that on 255.
You did very well.
No, I was like I said, it was a group effort. I was quite surprised. But and everybody's coming up to me and saying, and I'd also, if Steve Leeper sees this, I forget, is it OO? VK700?
Who did very well.
Oh, good.
With 857 points.
Nice. Well, he actually wrote a nice little blurb.
He did. And we've got it right here. A shout out to...
soapbox.
In the soapbox.
Correct. In the soapbox.
Yes.
Because he said, an especially big shout out goes to VK7FCL for doing so well in his first contest with not much on-air experience, as well as those who helped him out with his station setup.
I think that was very generous
great
of him,
comment.
and I've known Steve for years. Matter of fact, all but 6 months of my time here in Tasmania, because I worked with him back in the days at a place called Management Technology.
Okay,
And still, that was very kind of him. I was actually more chuffed about that comment, I guess I was, than the points I made. But now I can see that since I won, I'm changed my mind.
Now, we do have now VK7 Whiskey November Warren in the studio, and I noticed that there is a soapbox comment from Warren, which is, "This is my very first contest."
Yes, well, this is true. I mean, I have partially participated in a contest before. I think it was the RD one, but it was in a sort of a group effort.
Okay.
And it was so it wasn't out on my own. It was within an environment with support, and everything was set up, and I wasn't fully active for the whole period either. So yeah, it was a new experience to sort of be out there doing your first contest on your own.
All by
And
yourself.
I think the best part about it was it drove me to set up my gear again after I had packed it away due to some overseas travels and those sort of things. So anyways, I couldn't find my inverted V antenna, the link dipole, which I wanted to use. So 1 o'clock had passed, the contest had started, and I'm still trying to find an antenna. And I found, I thought, well, I'll just have to go for 2 meter, 70 centimeter, because I have the very nice club-made J-pole.
Yep.
And so I was fishing that out, and I realized I had one adapter missing to connect it to the radio.
Don't you hate that?
So yes, it was just like Murphy's Law. Everything was going wrong. But in the last minute, then I did find the inverted V, so I thought, okay, I can go HF.
Yep.
So with this contest, I was working only HF plus 6 meters.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
And managed to just get over 100 points that way.
Okay.
I had no 2 meter or 70 centimeter running, which probably would have easily doubled the points or more.
Yep. Yeah.
So it was just HF only, including my very first HF contact on 160 meters.
Well, I had my first on 80.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was all very exciting. I didn't have time to study the electronic log, so I just wrote it all down by hand.
Okay. Okay.
But that was okay. I knew I could sort of sort that out retrospectively.
Yep.
Which I did.
Okay.
And no, I found it. It was great fun. I think I did feel prepared in that I kind of knew what the typical frequencies were going to be.
Cool. Yep.
So when people said, let's go to 40 or let's go to whatever,
Yep.
I knew where to find them.
Okay.
And then you do your round of
The band dance.
yes.
Good stuff.
And yeah, I think very much as Paul said, it gives you a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Put it
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a good motivator too to sort of get the station back up and running again.
Get things up and going.
Mm.
Fantastic. No, good stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
It was good fun. I'm really glad I got a little bit of pushing into it,
Okay.
but I know that there was a Tasmanian trifecta to uphold. Should I not have said that? Okay.
No. That is fantastic, Paul. That is really, really good.
Thank you, and thank Reast for getting me on the right track. And,
Oh, no,
and
that's a
definitely.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Can I just say that's what it's all about. That is actually
Like
what
to-
amateur radio is all about.
I'd like to see more of it.
So you can stay there. You can stay there. I've just got a few other bits and pieces that I was going to actually show here. The very first one, the latest copy of, is that going to go the right place? Let's zoom out a bit here. The CWQRP Operators Club of Australia produce a wonderful little
Nice title.
magazine called Low Key, the Journal of the VKQRP Club. This came out a couple of weeks ago. And one of the articles that jumped out at me in here is the article on recycling 18650 laptop batteries. Now, this is something that, and this is the article, recycling 18650 laptop batteries for QRP. So this is to power your rig going QRP mobile. Now, this is something that has interested me quite a bit, and one of the things that it got me going on doing is I have kept a whole lot of laptop batteries that are in various states of crappiness, one of the what it number one got me to do was go through. That's right, Peter. It's not that camera. it's this one over here. So what I actually, and what we're looking at here is, it's a bit long, but this is a typical HP laptop battery holder. It's got the connections, it's got the electronics along here, and then there are 6 18650 LiPo cells in here. And this is exactly what this article talks about, in that you can see on that front page, this is one of those laptop batteries that have the 18650 cells. Now these 18650 cells are actually standardized cells that the industry has actually standardized on, and can I actually say this is the heart of the Tesla batteries.
Oh.
They use 18650 cells in arrays and huge arrays to actually as their storage batteries, and you can buy from Tesla these blocks of batteries. If you're doing a electric vehicle conversion or a storage, a home storage, the Tesla Powerwall
Yep.
has 18650 batteries in them, arrays of them. You can buy, if you go on to eBay and put in 18650, you can buy not only the batteries, but you can buy all of the components, which are the little plastic grids, the little matrices, that you can then put all these batteries in, and then you spot weld them. So here's another use for that spot welder, that earlier project I was talking about, which is progressing.
They actually make Lego type, but you don't spot weld them.
Oh, okay. They click together
They click together, and
excellent.
they have bus bar type arrangements on them.
Yep. Yeah.
Really easy to put together. I did a bit of this in the beginning too, and scavenged a bunch of these and took them apart.
So the what you're trying to do here, and that's the arrangement that you want to actually get out. So this is the balanced charger, and so what you basically do is take these apart. You work out which of these cells is actually the one that's probably failed, because in most cases there's only one or two that's actually.
Not the bunch that I found.
Oh, okay.
But yes, it is typically only one.
One of the issues here is if this is a battery that hasn't been charged for a long time, if you've let the cells actually go down to fairly low levels, which are actually dangerous, but if you've let them go down to low levels, they may not pick up again. But you take them apart, you find out those that you can actually salvage, you throw away the electronics at this stage. I've got a balanced charger, so a charger for 18650s, so you can put them in there.
A Nicor or something.
A Nicor, well and truly, that gives you the little display for each of the batteries and all of that sort of stuff. So you can fairly quickly work out which of the batteries are going to come back to life and which aren't. Now, the other thing is, if you then look at on eBay, there are so many different charging arrangements that you can actually do here. Now, this is one that I've been playing with, which actually comes from Adafruit. So this is from, in fact, I noticed that's actually the box it came from, Little Bird Electronics. This is a little LiPo lithium-ion charger that enables you to charge two cells, so that you can put two cells off of this, and you can charge it through. There's a USB connector on it, a little micro USB connector on it. And it has a couple of load connections, so you can put loads off of this. You can put the batteries on. It does the balanced charging all off of, and it does the balanced charging both through the USB, and also you can then use that USB to then take that power back out again. So and I think these were something in the order of, I don't know, $10 or $12. Now, relatively expensive given what I've now seen on eBay. This was a little while ago. But what I was actually doing with these was I had, and these are lithium-ion batteries. Oh, don't worry. Okay. I'll grab that in a minute. These are lithium-ion batteries, 3.7 volt cells, which at 1400 or 1.4 amp hour batteries. These are actually out of a handheld battery pack that I took out, and there was another one of these cells in the battery pack, and it was the other cell that was crap. So I kept the two that looked vaguely reasonable, and I was going to come up with a little battery pack by putting these two cells basically together with the charger, and that becomes a little battery pack, a USB battery pack. Now, and there are so many other options available to you. You've got now this has old iPhone 5 battery on it. So just to show you what an iPhone 5 battery looks like.
That's just a 2S arrangement, is it not?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. Now that's your stock standard. Given I was showing the Huawei battery last time, that's an iPhone 5 battery. This is an iPhone 6 battery. You can tell I've been scrounging, and which actually looks very similar. It's actually the same form factor, slightly different form factor. slightly bigger battery, but that's an iPhone 6 battery. The Huawei one that I got is about 2.5 times the capacity of these battery, which is, but you can
new or scavenged?
No, these are ones I've taken out. So these are old ones. Still have plenty of capacity in them.
I was going to ask.
No, still have plenty, which is why I've kept them. And then you've got, and I've got a little. This is one of those little bird containers. I scrounge batteries like this. This is a battery. This is a LiPo battery out of a iPod, a little MP3 player. This is another one which came out of another MP3 player. Then we go up to slightly larger, and actually these are like 820 or 0.8 amp per hour LiPo batteries, 3.7 volts. This is the little battery which is about a 400 amp per hour, milliamp per hour, 400 amp per hour, yeah right, 0.4 amp per hour LiPo battery, this is the one that I put into the Nano VNA. So I actually bought two of them. So that's it's 3.7 volts. These are all 3.7 volt cells. And then there is another one which I took out of a bit of equipment. I actually don't know where this came from. It's got the balanced charger. And it would be about 1.5 amp per hour capacity. You can see when I pulled it out, I actually tore the outside and I stopped and went. But it didn't do anything, so I thought, thank God. So we are planning one of those nights where we actually do some experiments with these batteries, but that's about as far as I'm prepared to go at the moment. Up here in the middle of nowhere.
So at those voltages, what are your applications? I mean, your QRP radios and whatnot. I mean, they're about 9 to 13.
Well, 9 to 13. So if you're using the 18650s, and he goes into this in the article, the 18650s, these are 3.7 volt cells. So if you you can't get a combination. But what you can do is you can get a little charging circuit that then gives you 12 or 13.8 volts out.
Oh,
so it does actually
a boost,
buck boost type arranger. Yeah. So and there are all sorts of, like there are ones that drop it down to 5. So you put two of these together and it drops it down to 5 and gives you that. There are ones that go down to 3.3. So if you've got 3.3 volt equipment, there are ones that then do it at 12, and there's ones that do it at 13.8 volts. So it just depends the combination that you actually want to use, and put it together with the relevant charger that goes with it. You've got yourself a little battery pack for, hopefully, if you can scavenge some of these, almost next to nothing.
I used to work for a company in the 80s that built one of the very first spy planes that was a backpackable glider, with an electric motor on it.
Yep.
And the assembly line girls were putting batteries, lithium batteries, and they were, I don't know what the size was. It wasn't a 21650, but as they were spot welding the tabs on, they had 2 buckets of sand by their benches.
Yes.
Because if something went wrong, the battery would get scooped into the half bucket of sand, and the other half bucket of sand would go on top.
Yeah.
And they would run that out to
the outside world.
But these were backpackable units with off-the-shelf Sony cameras in the nose.
Yeah.
You might remember in the Iraq War, the soldiers surrendering to that was the
pack.
Yeah, it wasn't the pack, but that was the company I worked for that built those.
Okay.
A place called AeroVironment.
Okay.
So you thought you were doing this with all these really safe batteries nowadays. These guys were, they might have been mixing mercury.
Yeah. So and when these are put together, these are all spot welded.
Sure.
They're all spot welded together. And it's quite interesting.
But those Lego packs that I told you about, I'll get you the link for that.
Well and truly.
They just clamp together. You don't have to worry about
doing all of this sort of
and-
stuff.
or getting them in cradles with tabs.
Well, I've actually ordered the single holders.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you buy in bulk, if you buy in bulk of those, they come, so they'll hold a single battery and they've just got a black and a red wire.
Okay.
So you can put them in whatever configuration, and you don't have to do any of the spot welding or that sort of thing. You can buy it for stupid prices. But anyway.
Have you heard of this fellow? This is it OHTN? He's a I think he might be Canadian or American, and he lives in the Netherlands somewhere, and he does a lot of man-portable stuff. And he's built. Have you heard of Gensun? It's a solar charger.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's all big on that,
Yep.
and he's built these like 45 and 50 amp hour man-portable.
Wow.
All by hand.
Yep.
And putting together eBay pieces. Really, if you're interested in doing this, really very, and he started out just like this. Really very interesting and lots of great ideas.
I just find it fascinating that the industry has standardised on this form factor, and the likes of Tesla are just putting hundreds of thousands of these. You can see why the share price of lithium, if you have shares in a company that produces lithium, you probably for the foreseeable future have it made.
These are all in your battery packs for your rechargeable drills, same size,
all of that.
All of that kind
Well
of
and truly.
stuff. Yeah,
So
fascinating.
So anyway, I'll keep going with this particular project, because I certainly was very interested in this, and one of the reasons why I kept a lot of these battery packs was to try and scrounge some recoverable batteries out of it, and we'll see how it goes. So
I've busted these up before, and I find that the tabs are tinnable, so I just solder onto the tabs.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
And in fact, on here, on this particular one, a couple of these tabs do have solder tabs on them already. They just come around to a little solder tab.
Each cell has to have tabs on it for the monitoring circuitry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. So it's. I'm not sure that there's too much recoverable on the surface mount electronics, but I'll have a look with a pair of magnifiers and see whether there's something there. Anyway.
You can still use the module provided you keep the current draw down, because it's only designed for a certain current. Otherwise, the series FETs that enable them can't handle the current drain if it's too high.
Okay.
So something like 10 amps maximum for,
Yep.
for a thing that's all.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot of power. It's 120, 106, 180 watts peak.
Well and truly, and it's so. Being the person I am, who just can't throw anything away, because I'm into reuse and repurposing, etc. I absolutely love the article. The other things that were in this magazine, there was actually, here you go. Here's the QRP hour contest in October, so it runs for an hour. The QRP contest. You've just got to use something. Oh, well and truly. So there's the article about the batteries, the portable digital operations. There's a QRP portable digital operation article about using a Raspberry Pi for a whole lot of digital modes. Quite a substantial article on the batteries. Peter Parker, who is a regular contributor, VK3YE, on the magic of JS8 call or FT8, and quite a reasonable article about that, and using JS8 instead of FT8. Interesting. The QCX CW transceiver, which is a very popular QRP transceiver, little 5-watt CW transceiver. They make a big thing about serial number 8000. So there are 8,000 of them, and they come out of China from BG2. Oh, that's who it's going to BG2 WMA. That was the 8,000th QCX 5-watt CW transceiver to go out. So a huge bit of member classifieds, and there's always Chris Thompson, VK1CT, does a very interesting crossword, which is a amateur radio crossword. QRP Club run club nets, regular club nets on a whole bunch of frequencies. Yeah, and on the back page is Wade VK1 MIC's portable digital kit, which is what he talks about in the article. Just go to there's his transceiver sitting on the rock, the Raspberry Pi and the display that he's using to run it, and the battery packs and the various bits and pieces. There's his antenna pole up here. So portable digital kit prior to moving to a smaller one. As a smaller one, wire audio interface from a UK operator, perched on Mount Stromlo in the ACT, being VK1 MIC. So Mount Stromlo, where the observatory, the telescope, the optical telescope is.
Used to be.
So.
Oh, bits of it are.
Oh, they're still there, but the old main is correct, because that was the bit that was burnt out during the VK1, the Canberra bushfires. So anyway, so we've that's oh yeah, show and tell. Now,
Go and get him.
yeah, go and get John. Well and truly.
Slink out.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
And congratulations, Paul. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Very good.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So we'll just what I should be doing is probably a promo here, and this is VK7OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, with our ATV Experimenters Nights, and I'll get John in, who has some show and tell, I understand. So welcome, John. VK7FJPA. Sorry, I got Paul's. We just had FPCL in here. FJPA. John, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, what have you got to show us?
Ooh, nice little signal generator.
A Dick Smith signal generator.
I know some people that'll drool for that. Just
Okay.
because it's got Dickie's name on it. Alan.
KAJ? No? Kim
Kim
Briggs, VK7KB.
was just explaining me how I can actually use it and try and calibrate it
Cool.
with the Crow I've got. And
Okay.
the same with that. He was explaining about the cycles.
Okay.
To set it on.
Now I'll get you to hold that one up, because what we can do here is I can move the wrong way. There we go. There's John, and what we can actually do here even is we can
Zoom in.
whoops, up. There we go. The Dick Smith signal generator, and it is a SG4160B. Sorry, we're looking sideways. So there you go. Now, where did you purchase this from? What's its origin?
Well, I picked it up at the tip shop.
Oh, which one?
Glenorchy.
Okay.
Yep. A silent key.
Okay.
I can't remember who it was. There was a garage sale advertised on Gumtree
Okay.
for Saturday morning, and I went along thinking, might be interesting. There was a few things I was interested in, but they were sold before the sale.
Okay.
So I went along to have a look, and when I rolled up, it was 8 o'clock kick-off. No one was in. They had it all roped off.
Okay.
No one in for 8 o'clock. All these cars, and I thought, oh no, the competition, I'm going to have to fight. And we walked in, I got in, and I was the only one there for radio gear. All the others were there for fishing gear.
Oh.
The guy was
Okay.
a keen fisherman also.
Okay.
So I had to wander about and
Okay.
a good pick through everything, but this stuff must have been hidden or I'm blind.
Yeah, okay.
But
So you didn't see it when you looked?
No.
When you...
No,
Okay.
no, anyway, I thought, oh well, I'll do my usual tip shop rounds. I got up there and it had just been dropped off and there was a trailer full of stuff.
Okay.
Absolutely full of stuff. And I went through and picked this out, that, I got a nice little dummy load, it's a little 300 watt dummy load as
Okay.
well. Really that's all I sort of picked out of it.
Now, I'll just get you to hold the other one up. So the other one is also a signal generator.
Yeah, but it's,
Wide range oscillator, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Marconi Instruments, so it's a good English, you can select the output level and the output, and then the output level, so the coarse and the fine, and then you can select the frequency, and then basically you read off what it is here. There's
Yes.
a 1 to 10.
Yep.
So,
so I'm assuming that's from 100 meg to 1,000
well,
kilohertz, sorry.
it's whatever you, so it's
This
10,
range is on
10
that
hertz,
phone, yeah.
so 10 hertz up to 1 megahertz, basically on what you push on the way through. Very English.
Yeah.
Just,
A sine wave or a square wave.
Just turn it round and we'll zoom in here. Quite a neat little unit. And it's mains operated or is it battery?
Battery.
Oh, it's battery. Okay.
Yeah, what's it say? 2 times VT9 battery. So it's 18 volt.
Oh, okay, so 2 9-volt batteries.
Yeah.
That's how you can get around that. Okay.
Yeah, but I go looking for test equipment more than anything.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what fascinates me. I do want to learn more about testing equipment
Yep.
as well, and,
Yeah,
and fault finding, diagnosis, repair.
Now, John brought in it's about a 1980s Crow, I reckon.
Roughly.
70s or 80s Crow, that was part of our test equipment, old test equipment night.
Evening, yes.
That was and Kim actually also
Yes.
took you through that. So
Tim's done a lot of
there you go.
explaining a lot of things to me. Very helpful man.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very good indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good, John.
Mm.
And yeah, okay. And there is some. So this stuff, I assume, is now on display or at the Glenorchy Resource Tip Shop, or it's probably gone by now.
It's
But
pretty well bloody gone, believe me.
Yeah, out of what other equipment did you notice or identify?
There's some voltmeters. There's some. There was a very interesting. I don't know what you'd call it, but it had a lot of little round tubes you plugged in the top that gave you different frequencies.
Oh, it's a grid dip oscillator.
Ah, yes.
Grid dip oscillator, I reckon.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a metal hand thing.
Yep.
But they've got a small fortune for a price on that one. It's still in the box.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
with all the slugs are there. It's
Yeah,
full
right.
set. A lot of old voltmeters, amp meters. There was
Okay.
Hmm.
What about radio equipment? Is there, or
There
did
was-
that go? Well, that was the
that went
equipment that
pretty
went.
quick. But yeah, it was
Okay.
mostly AM, CB.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
A couple of UHFs.
Yep.
But they've gone already.
Yeah.
They were there
Yeah.
yesterday. They're gone today.
They're usable items. That's
Yes.
yeah.
There's still a lot of equipment hidden in the counter that behind the glass display
Okay.
that I don't understand what it is.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but there's still some stuff up there, and apparently there was another load to turn up, but it
Oh, okay.
never turned up.
Well, there you go.
But I know some of the stuff that wasn't there that I did see at the garage sale.
Yep.
Was like a 3 or 4 man lift to get it in the trailer.
Right.
Big and
All
heavy.
right, so you were at the garage sale first,
Yes.
and then what they didn't sell went to the tip shop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And if I'd known that was the case, I would have said, well, I'll happy take it all to the tip for you.
Yes.
Well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And pick through it as I throw it out.
Yeah.
But beggars can't be choosers. I didn't know I was going to the tip shop.
No.
But it was a little Aladdin's cave up there for the last 2 days. It
Okay.
was amazing. And I picked up not from the same sale, but half a dozen UHF beam antennas.
Okay.
Stainless steel, brand new, never even been used.
Okay.
It's like some business has gone and just tossed them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I've got half a dozen of those now to get rid of.
Wow.
Yeah, well, this is the thing with the tip shops. I mean, you just never know when what is going to turn up, and then of course, if it is something of interest, then it won't be there for long.
Correct.
So you just never know your luck when you rock up.
Yeah, when I first started doing the tip shops, it was a good cheap source, but not
No,
anymore.
not
They
anymore.
start.
They've realised.
they Google.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I had to travel over to Mornington.
Yep.
And I thought, well, since I'm here, I might visit the Mornington tip shop there. And lo and behold, I run into Jeff there, VK7MHZ. And we had a bit of a chat, and he told me that he was having a tip shop day. He had already been to the Margate one, the South Hobart one, the Glenorchy one. Now he was at Mornington. So,
Well, I've got a guy that lives across the road from the Huonville ones, and he goes every day, and he just phones me if he finds something.
Huonville. Oh, okay. Oh, look.
Huonville.
Don't know
There's
about
another
that
one.
There's
Oh.
another one, yeah. Norfolk, there's no radio gear at Norfolk though.
Oh, okay.
The people up there run things slightly different. The guy says that's my retirement fund,
Oh, okay.
and all the good stuff gets squirreled away.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
just
Well, about a
don't
week
see it.
ago, I visited the South Hobart one, and on the shelf there was a beautiful piece of old test equipment. It was a fairly large Crow
Okay.
oscilloscope.
Yep.
It wasn't your classic Tektronix one. I don't recall what the brand was, but it looked very much like the Tektronix, except
Okay.
instead of that sort of greenish color, it was more light beige.
Okay.
Came with manuals. The sticker said that it was PMG equipment, I
Okay.
think. And the price tag said $80.
Okay.
And I thought, well, for a collector, and if that thing's working, it's probably not a bad price. And I noticed this other gentleman interested in some electrical bits and pieces lying around, and when that caught his attention, he was all over it. And when I finished doing my rounds at the tip shop there, the Crow had gone, so I suspect he fell in love with it and took it.
And fantastic. That's what it's all about, honestly. And tip shops are you might be lucky sometimes, and you might not be.
You just
You
never
know,
know.
you never know.
It's-
You honestly never know.
It's just timing.
Correct. It's like good comedy. It's all about timing. Well and truly. So, well, that's excellent, John. That's fantastic. You're getting quite a good little shacks full of test equipment,
Slowly,
Yeah.
slowly.
which is good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You'll be able to do all sorts of things. So,
Yeah, well, I started off with some fairly old, really older stuff.
Yeah.
now, but this stuff is just.
well, you're going modern here.
This is just.
This
This is a step in the right direction.
My goodness. No, well and truly. Well
Yeah.
and truly.
But yeah, no, I just enjoy looking at the stuff, collecting it.
Yep.
Seeing if it works, figuring out how to repair them if they need it.
Yep.
It's all a learning curve.
Fantastic. Well, good stuff. And thank you for bringing it in. And the key message is keep going to those tip shops. Keep.
No.
Keep- No, I think I have to say I think my secret's well and truly out there because I haven't found something in a tip shop for a while. I have not had time to go, so it's usually the only time that I've been has been at sort of the end of the day, before the 4 o'clock, when they close. And by the end of the day, everything's been picked over. It's just forget it. It's just
Yes, well, I used to manage regular weekly visits to the South Hobart one.
Yep.
When my young daughter used to have piano lessons in South Hobart. And the timing was just perfect to duck over to the tip shop and have a look.
There you go.
That'd be nice.
There you go. Yes, that's that's very good. That's very good indeed. All right. No, well, that's our night tonight. What I would like to do though is just remind people that next week is actually our September event night, and so that's the 25th. That's Wednesday the 25th. And what we're doing is we're all gathering down at the ABC television and radio studios down at the railway roundabout from 7:30 p.m. And I can just say that 7:30 p.m. sharp because if you don't get in through the door at the time that we go in, there may not be an opportunity to actually get you into the door. Because we can't actually man the door. There is a security system arrangement. So please be there 7:30 sharp. There is a little bit of parking out the front, but I stress a little bit. I think there's like 3 or 4 car parks and that's about it. But there is parking across the road in Aberdeen Street, so the street that goes up the side of the Aquatics Centre, and there's usually parks up there. Just be very careful. I'm doing my workplace health and safety thing here. Just be very careful crossing the road because that is probably one of the most used roads in Hobart. And people come flying around the roundabout expecting to go onto the Tasman Bridge. So just be careful. So 7:30 next Wednesday night down at the ABC. And a huge thank you to Damien VK7 SD and also Alan VK7KAD, who are both employees at the ABC who are showing us through. So and they have done a huge amount of work down there. So looking forward to seeing that. And I'll just give you a bit of a heads up. Our October event, and I'm not quite sure whether it's going to be the 2nd or the 9th, or it may even be the 16th, is we're trying to get a tour through the milk factory at Lena Valley. Now, the milk factory at Lena Valley has a huge amount of process control electronics that runs that, and we're fortunate enough to actually have one of our members, Dale Barnes VK7DG, who's actually the engineer out there. So, and Dale's going to give us a tour. And can I just say, we had a tour probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago at least. It would be at least that long ago, a long time ago. And it was, you sort of think, oh, it's a milk factory, but there's actually a huge amount of technology in a milk factory and a lot of process control and a lot of electronics and all sorts of things that go into the actual controlling of that. You're not just... Can I just say, you're not just filling a milk carton. It's a lot more than that, and there's a whole lot around quality control and process control and etc. etc. So, it's absolutely fascinating. So that's our October event. I'm just not quite sure what Wednesday night it's going to be because we're still Dale's negotiating with management around getting us in there. So watch this space. And of course we just a reminder, we stream, we go out on RF, so go to the Reast website, reast.asn.au, and go to the streaming section and you can see this streamed. You can also see it, if you can see the Queen's Domain, you've got half a chance to actually receive the RF that we're putting out, DVB-T, 445.5 megahertz, 7 megs bandwidth. If you can see the Queen's Domain and you can point an antenna with a little bit of gain towards the Queen's Domain, you have every chance of actually seeing it with your set-top box or USB dongle. In fact, John's received on his USB dongle.
Yep, I got it home, quite nice.
From which?
Goodwood.
From Goodwood. So, and that's not quite line of sight, or is it? Isn't it? you'd be sort of over the Lutana Hill and down a little bit.
A
Wouldn't you?
little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you have a go. Well and truly have a go. And if you can see the Queen's Domain, I would be very surprised if you can't actually receive a signal. So anyway, and give us a bit of a hoy. We'll go. We'll open up R2 in a sec and see whether we've got anybody watching. So that's our night for tonight. Thank you, John,
Thank you.
and thank you, Warren, for our studio audience. Woohoo! We really need a studio audience cam, do we?
Well, I
don't
have
we?
to say,
Yeah.
on my arrival here, I was very pleased to see the
Lucky door prize.
The lucky door prize.
Nibblies in celebration of our RD contest win, and so fantastic.
No, it's well and truly and well deserved. So 3 cheers for VK7. So it's good stuff. So we've got a few videos that we'll start playing right at the moment, and we'll head into next door and enjoy some nibblies and bits and pieces. So thank you very much. Cheers.